Bum-ba-da-dum! Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I am Banjo Ben, your host here on the website that teaches you how to play guitar and mandolin. This week is Banjo Week, and we're doing Happy Birthday to You. This is one that you've got to know. You got to give folks a reason to invite you to birthday parties. And if you own a banjo and you know how to play this song, you're guaranteed to probably get invited to those parties. Here's a cool thing. We're going to learn it in the key of G. It's easy to sing to. So this could work as like a solo as you play just with the banjo, or people could sing along with you as you play it. If you're watching here on the website, as a GoPick member, you have everything you need. Just scroll down beneath the video player. You'll see the rest of the video segments, the tabs, just like I played it. Also the MP3 of the performance as well. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to come over to the site. You can join as a GoPick member, have access to hundreds of great lessons just like this one. Let's jump into Happy Birthday to You. This is one of those songs that we need to know how to play, and I've got this jazzy arrangement here, but it's not very difficult to play once you figure out your chord shapes, and I'll show you some keys to learn how to do that. So even though it may sound a bit more advanced, I wrote it like it so it would sound more fancy, but that anybody, just about anybody, can learn how to play this thing. Here's the thing about Happy Birthday that a lot of people don't think about. It's a waltz. That means there's 3 beats in the measure, just like Amazing Grace and the Star-Spangled Banner. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And so we're going to also bring in some triplets with kind of that triplet backup sound. And I think that gives it a good feel over that 3/4 timing. Let's go ahead and throw up the first line of tab here, and you'll see what we're up to. I've got the lyrics here beneath the notes, so you know where the melody falls. And for the most part, our melody is going to be on the top note. So we're going to start there on the 3rd beat of that first measure with happy. And then we're going to go to a neat little chord here. It sounds like this. Now, what chord is that? Well, it's technically a C7 flat 5. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but it's a C chord whenever we play the flat 7 tone, and we're also going to play the flat 5 tone, but our melody note's up here on the E. And it's going to resolve very nicely into that birthday. So that C7 flat 5 sounds really good, resolved back into the 1 chord, back into the G. Now, as far as fingering it, how should we think about that? Well, here's how I want you to think about it. You know how to make your Y pattern here, right? You know how to do those backup patterns. Well, if you take that pattern, release your pinky so that you have 5th fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then move everything up a string. Boom. And when you land there, you're going to be playing that C7 flat 5. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play that. It's the inside strings with our 3 fingers. And though I don't have it notated on the tab, I want to give you lots of freedom in playing this. You can play all of these notes together, so it could sound like this. Happy birthday. Or you can do kind of a, I don't know, it's not really a rake, but you can stagger those notes. You could even brush them if you wanted to with your thumb. But as we resolve to the G chord on the word day, then we'll come back to that familiar chord. Now, leave your pinky down if you can, and with your last 2 fingers, or I'm sorry, your middle finger if you can, and with your last 2 fingers, reach up and grab the first 2 strings on the 5th fret for the word to. So if you can get through measure 2, you can play this whole song, because this maybe is the most difficult measure as far as left hand or fret hand fingering goes. But if you'll just think about it in terms of, well, there's my normal G chord shape or F chord shape, however you want to think about it. There it is, just moved up a string. And now I can bring it back down and put my ring finger back down where it was supposed to go. That gives the word day. Then leave your middle finger down and place these last 2 fingers down for 2, which is like an E minor chord that we're getting there. So that all together it sounds like this. Cool? That sounds pretty cool. So you can explain, or you can do whatever you want as far as when you play through this. If you want to play them like regular quarter notes, or if you want to brush through them. I think it sounds good to do a little bit of both, and that's what I did in the recording and the performance. When you get to U in measure 3, it sounds like this. Here's your D shape, and we're going to do a triplet on the first beat. Now what I did in the recording, and I didn't write it here because it makes it a little messy in the tab, is to quickly slide into that very first note in measure 3. So I'm starting on the first fret and going into the second fret. But I have my whole position down already. All right, so if we do the whole first line together slowly, by the way, we'll do the whole thing slowly together later on if you're a Gold Pick member here on the site. It sounds like this. One more time. That sounds pretty fun. It can go fast if you're wanting to play it as people are singing along, or you can make it super dramatic if it's somebody's 50th. Whatever you want to do, right? As we go into the next line,